Game consoles have been a thing since the 70s and are still going strong today, with more bells and whistles than we could even count, especially in this generation of gaming with the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. And I'll be the first to admit those systems are pretty impressive in terms of specs, while us lonely Nintendo fans are just sitting there and watching all those Xbox and PlayStation fans have the time of their lives. It doesn't matter what system it is, I will find the best feature of modern game consoles. In my opinion, of course. But what is the best feature of modern day game consoles? Before we begin, let's start with asking what the hell features for game consoles even are. Consoles in the 70s, 80s, and 90s didn't really have a whole lot of features to call their own, aside from just playing games and offering better graphics. I guess. For as great as you can make the graphics for GoldenEye 007 on the Nintendo 64 look at least, and the original PS1 having a screen you can attach, some systems definitely had some unique features, but not a whole lot of them. But it didn't take until the 6th generation of gaming, the Sega Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, the original Xbox, and the Nintendo GameCube, for game consoles to actually get serious with features aside from graphics for once. The Xbox and PlayStation 2 had DVD support, making both systems very convenient if you're not playing games on them, and the GameCube could play a good majority of Game Boy system games with the help of the sold separately add-on, the Game Boy Player. And after that, features for game consoles have become more and more attractive, adding stuff like motion controls with the Nintendo Wii, adding actual online multiplayer with original Xbox and PlayStation 2, or offering virtual reality with the Sony PlayStation 4. Console features have come a long way since the early days of gaming, adding new features to leave the competition in the dust. But as a simple man, there's one feature that I can confirm to be the absolute best feature of any game console. Sorry, Switch fans, it's not the switching feature, though that is very cool. My favorite feature of any game console is backwards compatibility. Oh, give me a break, it's my opinion. This is a feature that basically makes your current game console compatible with the previous system's games and accessories. But most of the time, they're actually just games and games from the current system's predecessor. It's a pretty neat feature. But not all game consoles actually have this feature, and there are two ways to get on my bad side. Discontinuing online tournaments for Tetris 99 because that would just make me sad, and not including backwards compatibility in new game consoles. Now, some of the reasons why they aren't there are pretty understandable, like with the Switch only supporting cartridges and the Wii U supporting discs, and even so, most Wii U games have been re-released on the Switch's superior versions to their original Wii U counterparts, so it doesn't hurt that much. But systems like the Nintendo 64 not supporting Super Nintendo games and the Super Nintendo not supporting NES games is simply beyond me. Even the GameCube has backwards compatibility with Game Boy games through an adapter known as the Game Boy Player, and the same for the SNES with the Super Game Boy, so you could say these systems are backwards compatible, except you have to buy the backwards compatibility. But easily, the system that simply made me fall in love with backwards compatibility is the Nintendo Wii. This system released in 2006 here in North America and was a massive success. As of now, at least until the Switch surpasses it, is the best-selling home console from the Japanese corporation, selling an impressive 101.63 million units. And a lot of the system's appeal wasn't from its specs, it was for its motion controls. The Wii specs really aren't anything to write home about. I mean, even back then the specs were pretty underwhelming. The system's lack of HD support competing against the HD Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, not to mention the lack of DVD support, and some other features, and even several years ago, Nintendo even discontinued online features for the Wii, like online play and other online-based services. And a lesser mind would probably say that that was basically the last thing needed for the Wii to become obsolete. No. It was when Nintendo killed off the Wii Shop channel in 2019. But even though the Wii's main features are discontinued nowadays, there are still many reasons to return to the system. Two reasons, in fact. Games, unless you have a Wii U, let's be honest here, and backwards compatibility. The Nintendo Wii is backwards compatible with GameCube games and accessories. Not all accessories are supported like the Game Boy adapter, but from what I know, the Wii is backwards compatible with GameCube games. And for many of us who doesn't own a GameCube, this is many people's way of playing games from what many people refer to the GameCube as the best Nintendo console. The system has some of the best games in Nintendo's trademark franchises, and if you don't have a GameCube, but a Wii, a GameCube controller, memory card, and a game, then you'll be all set. The Wii is also one of the very few official ways of playing GameCube games on other systems that isn't the GameCube. Yeah, for some reason Nintendo doesn't like to re-release GameCube games on their modern system as much as they do with their other systems. NES, SNES, and even the Nintendo 64. The only time Nintendo actually lets you play GameCube games outside of playing it on the GameCube itself is either through this, doing an HD remaster, or including a GameCube game as part of a collection. And I personally feel with GameCube not being re-released as much as other Nintendo systems, kinda makes me appreciate the Wii's GameCube support even more. Sure, a lot of us are pretty frustrated that Nintendo still has yet to put GameCube games on their Wii U Virtual Console, and even on Switch Online. But if you have some GameCube games, a controller, a memory card, not a GameCube but an aging Wii that is collecting dust in your attic or garage, then you can use it for GameCube games. And it's not even just the Wii that makes me love backwards compatibility. The Wii U supporting Wii games, the Game Boy Advance supporting all the Game Boy games, the DS supporting Game Boy Advance games, the 3DS supporting DS games. Backwards compatibility is such a useful feature to have. And I feel even though it sucks when it's not available on every console, it'd be understandable if there was a good reason, like I mentioned before with the Switch using cartridges and the Wii U supporting CDs. Or maybe because of cost reasons. But either way, backwards compatibility is great, and even though it hasn't been a thing on all game consoles, I still love it, and I sincerely hope it continues for all console generations going forward. But it wouldn't be a proper end to another Omar Man episode if I didn't point out something negative and stupid as hell. So how about this? Back in 2011, Nintendo re-released a newer model of the Wii with literally no differences, no stand, and no backwards compatibility with GameCube games, which is already weird on its own. But what's even weirder, Nintendo also released the Wii Mini 2 years later here in North America, not only no GameCube support, but with no online features, no USB ports or SD card slots. I do not know how this thing became an official retail product. Oh yeah, and also in 2012 Nintendo released the Wii U, but I was told not to mention that at all costs, or Nintendo's gonna come to my house and hunt me down. Hey, why are you talking about the Wii U? I'm in trouble. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider subscribing and checking out my other videos on my channel where you'll find more videos like this one. And I'll see you next time.